refresh my memory and tell us why you came here in the first place.
Well, I couldn't think straight, for one thing.
So that's part of the chief complaint.
That's part of the chief complaint. Always tired and forgetting stuff. I mean, I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached. But tired a lot. And the big thing was I was having a hard time thinking things out.
I developed a mold allergy and didn't know what was going on. The last 2 years I was in bed most of the time, and people just didn't know how to help me.
I suffer from Gulf War syndrome. They didn't know what to call it then. I was extremely tired and fatigued. My memory was off and on, and I was sleeping 12 hours, 14 hours a day. I couldn't even do my job anymore. No one could ever say, this is what's wrong with you, and this is what we can do to cure you.
I started having chronic UTIs, yeast infections, and so, they pumped me full of antibiotics, and then I would end up with stomach issues. We were going into the ER once or twice a year because of just severe pain in my stomach, and they were like, oh, you're fine. The ultrasounds were turning up fine, and so nothing was wrong with me. I was sent home with medications, and it just got worse and worse. I was ready to try a different approach.
I finished medical school in New York City at New York Medical College, came to Arizona to do my family practice residency at Good Samaritan Hospital, and stayed here. And 14 years later is the momentous year when I got pneumonia that turned into asthma that wouldn't go away, and they had me on 9 different drugs. And every drug you could think of, all it did was drug me. It didn't solve the problem. I was allergic to mold that was growing on the wine bottles in my house, and the mold was blowing into my bedroom. It was botrytis mold. But then the day came where I got invited to this medical conference, and it was an unbelievable experience. 20 minutes after the little drops of diluted botrytis mold went under my tongue, cleared. It was like someone pushed a button and my lungs opened up. And that was the epiphany of my life when I went back to school and I learned how to do integrative medicine.
He was actually able to test me and say, okay, here's your problem. Here's how we treat that.
There are other doctors, the ones that haven't had the epiphany experience, that go to work every day and don't have the armamentarium of dilutional medicine and vitamins and minerals and hormone replacement. I mean, it's totally rewarding to be here.
Sometimes you do have problems that you just can't fix. So far, with a homeopathic way, it just helps tremendously. It's just amazing, and it doesn't make me feel that I'm drugging myself.
Yeah, well, I come in for a chelation IV once a month, and I come in every 4 months for a Zyto. They give me a new set of drops, and it works out real well.
I was trained how to do homeopathy by Dr. Fuller Royal in Las Vegas, and he was a strong user of Intero. And after going through his training course, when I first got started, I realized that in order to properly make selections, instead of just guessing, is that it would be nice to have an exacting method, and the Intero just filled the bill. And Intero became the best machine, and then became the MSA machine, and then one day I was at a convention and there was the Zyto. And I said, I can't believe that you don't have to do the probing anymore. It's a no-brainer. I used to have technicians that did my MSA testing, and I used to walk into the room, I was really busy, at the end of their visits and help make the final choices. Well, when the Zyto came along, I'm the one that does it, and I'm happier. And the patients are happier because they see me for their entire visit, and that's what they really want. They want to see the doctor.
With the Zyto, it's great. You actually sit in Dr. Shelton's office and get to talk to him, put your hand there, and he goes over everything with you as it's happening. And it gives you the same readout as the other machines used to, only this one's a lot better and quicker.
It's right here on the desk and everyone gets it. There's a screen for the patient. They sit right in front of that screen over there and they watch exactly what I'm doing.
I would sit there and watch the machine work, and he'd always tell me some stories about, the science behind it, and it was fascinating. It was just like, wow.
It's not complicated, like he's saying. It's not really that complicated. You don't have to do all this kind of stuff. You just have to have a remember to take the stuff he gives you, then he uses this machine to tune into your body and you start feeling better. I mean, how hard is that?
Actually, after about 6 months, I was returned to full-time work. Really, just a 6-month period. My memory came back. I stopped sleeping 12 hours a day, and I was a lot more energetic. I was actually like a tax-paying citizen again.
I guess I never believed that I would find something that really will help me, because I didn't even, nobody knew what was going on with me. But it has given me back my life. I can be a normal mom again.
Definitely. My husband says he has his wife back, Yeah, my family's noticed the difference, and I've certainly noticed the difference.
In 8 weeks, I've gone from realizing that I can't think straight to actually remembering stuff and being able to do stuff.
Well, until you have your own personal health crisis and either die from it or recover and say, I don't want this to ever happen to me again, and then you go find the integrative doctor. But when that person raises their grandchildren to seek out this type of care, when those grandchildren grow up and help promote this as the standard of medicine, that's when the world's really going to change.